doesn't seem like it, but I really don't enjoy being in the middle of the spotlight. Yeah, I know that doesn't sound true, but well, anyway, some of you were at the science awards thing the other night, and I got to tell a couple of my favorite stories. And so since I'd already told those two stories, I'm kind of stuck. So I was thinking about a bunch of others, like the one that Wes Myers was telling actually has there's a whole week of events that ended up with me on the back stairs. And it's really, well, let's just say that at the end of that week, Skippy Viglianti, who was the principal of the school at the time, made an announcement at the faculty meeting that said that John Farley was no longer allowed to use the back stairwell at the end of the science department. So I came upon this story, and I hope I get this correct. When people take a look at my checkered career as a teacher, they're always impressed by the fact that I had this guy as a student. Now, I'm sorry. Dwayne Johnson was a nice kid, and you know, and he's had some success, but I don't see this as the pinnacle of my teaching career. People go, "Wow, you taught rock." Yeah. Okay. So, well, he was the picture on the right is what he looked like when I had him as a student. The picture on the left has him in kind of a characteristic pose. And this is where the story that I'm getting at goes to. A number of years ago, Pat decided that I needed to be a master teacher. And I had gone through best assessment training, and I was doing that instead, which was really grueling. We called it boot camp. It was really awful stuff. But so I'd never taken the training. And Laura Rodriguez was offering it, and so I went. Now, I was by far the oldest person there, except for Laura, but I'm older than her. And so all these young kids who are teachers in the school now, several of whom I knew as students, are doing the same training as me. They're going to be master teachers and get student teachers. And one of them is Scott Trump, who I have had some very interesting, let's say, experiences with. And I can't tell you the gun story tonight because there's a couple of lines in there that are really very good, and I will not say in front of Father Tom. But this is what happened. Laura said to the teachers, we'd like you to share something that you learned, something someone gave you that you use as a pedagogical thing. Now that's a word that I had to look up in my story. But it's, okay, so what word of wisdom? Of course, I thought of my father, and my father always would say to me, "John, someday that big mouth of yours is going to get you in a lot of trouble." and absolutely, that's the truth. But that wasn't the thing I stuck on. You heard from Wes that I taught 3 years in Catholic school in West Haven, St. Louis school, and it was a wonderful time. It wasn't the country club that Wes described, but it was a great experience. And it was a real learning place. That's where I was really young. And let's say that as teachers go, I really sucked. The kids were killing me. And I was screaming and yelling and just doing all the wrong things. And the pastor at the time, who was my boss, Father Charles Mullins, he's passed away now, wonderful man. He took it upon himself to try to help me with this issue. And he says, "John, you gotta stop this yelling. What you have to do is you have to give them the catechetical eye." Okay, Father, you're gonna have to tell me what that is, because I have no clue what the catechetical eye means. He goes, "It's like this." The catechetical eye. And I don't say anything, just raise my eyebrow and look at the kids. Yes, it works. Yes, it works. I was shocked. The first time I did it here, I'm the 7th grade teacher at St. Louis School. They're all screaming, yelling, all fighting each other, they're all calling each other names. And I stop and I stare at one kid and I raise my eyebrow and they all shut up. It's a miracle. So I shared this with the group gathered. Here I'm gonna give them this insight that Father Mullins gave to me, and I taught them about the catechetical eye. And Scott Troner sitting there goes, "You taught that to the rock." Yes, I did. The rock's signature eyebrow raise was from me. By the way, through Father Mullins. So let's give it where it's due. Okay, so that's my one story that I'm allowed to tell you tonight. This event is mind-blowing. I hope every one of you gets to have something like this in your life. This is just amazing. All of you people here tonight, friends from everything. my wonderful family, my sisters. I got into big trouble years ago. Unfortunately, it was my father's funeral. And I was very lucky because of my job, because I worked, because I'm a teacher in Hamden, and the kind of respect that gets is just amazing. And because of the Boy Scouts, which is another thing where you get a lot of respect, there were a lot of people who came to my father's wake because of me. And every one of them said something on their way out. And then I found myself surrounded by these 5 beautiful, formidable women, my sisters. And they said, "What? Don't you tell anybody that you have sisters?" Because every person went by, "Wow, you're John's sister, you're John's sister, you're John's sister." And it dawned on me that as a young guy, I realized that I didn't brag about my sisters for one very good reason. Because they had all these boyfriends, and my brother Bill and I were only 2 of us. We couldn't take them. One of them actually married a guy who was a Golden Gloves boxer. I couldn't take him. So we kept it kind of quiet. Well, now I'm big and nobody's going to beat me up anymore. So I have 5 beautiful sisters. They're wonderful women. They're some of the best people I know. And if I haven't bragged about them enough, I have to brag about them here. My brother isn't here tonight. He lives in Georgia, and he's another cool guy. He can fix anything. He makes me look like I have 5 thumbs, and that impresses me. All the friends that are here, all my friends from the Scouts, these guys that were in my Boy Scout troop. There's 5 guys here, Eagle Scouts from my Scout troop when I was a baby. And they came to me. I've known these guys for 40 years, and that's so impressive. Anthony Annunziata, Dr. Anthony Annunziata, who used to ask me about Stephen Hawking when he was 9 years old. That just floored me, and I had to go find out who Stephen Hawking was. The teachers from the Hamden High School, I always brag about. I said to Derek up the Grove earlier this year, and so many people already heard me say this, "What are you going to miss when you leave teaching?" And I said to him that what I'm going to miss is being able to say that I'm a teacher. And actually, what I'm going to miss most is I'm going to be able to say that I'm a teacher at Hamden High School. It has been a point of incredible pride. Hey, I sent 3 kids to college based on that job, and that's something to be really proud of. But the hundreds of kids, I figured it's over 3,000 kids I got to work with over the years, and he was only one of them. It's just incredible. Saturday morning I was out walking with Flo McBride and the Northern Bird Club doing the summer bird count, and as I'm walking down Leader Hill Road, a car pulls up. There's a girl I had as a student 10 years ago, rolls down the door, "Good morning, Mr. Farley, how are you?" That just blows you away. My family, I am so blessed. You can't imagine what it feels like doing the job that we do and seeing the troubles that families have and the issues that they have to deal with, and to see my family and say, what did I do that was different? I mean, it's just, how do I deserve this kind of thing? My 3 sons are incredible men. I am just totally astonished by what they can do, far outstripping anything I've ever done. They've all chosen well for partners. My 2 daughters-in-law and 1 future daughter-in-law are incredible women. They didn't always choose the right girls, trust me. But they ended up with the right ones, trust me. It's much better. Good job. That's my first girl. Yeah, I wish that were true. My grandchildren, Nick and Ellie, are just delightful. When Matt called me and said that we're going to have a baby, you're going to be a grandfather, I got mad at him. I said, I'm not old enough to be a grandfather, forget that. So they had this discussion amongst everybody without me, of course. They said, well, what should we call Grandpa? Is it going to be Grandpa or Boompa or some other silly name? And so they finally asked me, and I said, well, they're going to call me Mr. Farley. They don't call me Mr. Farley. I don't do very well making up stories. except the moose one, but that's pretty good. I got a lot of mileage out of that moose thing. There's no such thing, by the way. If anybody wants to argue with me about it, I'll talk to you outside. But Josephine is the love of my life. You don't know what she's done for me. Where I was when I met her, how much she's been to me, all that we've gone through together, and then to do something like this just floors me. That's something I'm going to miss, is being able to go steal her M&Ms every day. Which she should get more peanut ones. Yeah, she put peanut ones that big in the drawer in the bottom of the desk. She thinks I don't know. I wouldn't be a teacher if it weren't for her. When we were dating in college, I got frustrated with it, and I said, I want to go someplace else. I want to do something else. And she convinced me that I was doing the right thing. I was going the right way. When I went through 5 years in a row in a different school during the late 70s and early 80s, before I came to Hamden, I was ready to pack it in. They said, okay, obviously they don't want me in this business. They keep laying me off. They keep sending me to other schools. It's time to look for something else. She convinced me to try one more time. And that's when I got my job in Hamden. And there's something that I have to say. Hamden, even though I got those letters like so many of you did, never laid me off. And in fact, since I've been working in Hamden, I don't recall anybody ever being laid off. I remember people who left because they didn't get their recall letter, but they were never actually, gone out the door. And that is impressive, the way they support their staff, the way they keep them in their job. The woman who cried because she was moving after being in the same room for 16 years. And I said, lady, you should be lucky. I haven't been in the same building for 2 in a row. So just take your blessings where they are. Josephine, I love you. You have made my life what it is. I would not be who I am without her. And I think those of you who know me and see me around know that that's the truth. And thank you for this tonight. You did this. I had nothing to do with it. I had no idea who was coming tonight. And she refused to tell me, which I think she had a lot of fun doing. But to all of you, this is what you do, and I mean everybody here, the volunteers from the Scouts, the volunteers from my church, the people who work in the school system, my family, my friends, everything you do is important. You don't know what kind of impact you have on people. I told the story before, and it's a little bit of bragging, but years ago I had a student in class. Her name was Lai-Hing Louie, and she was incredibly shy. And I used to give her the needle. I used to love to pick on her, and she would get really and so I would needle her a little bit more. And finally, one day I said to her, Lai-Hing, why do you think I pick on you like this? And she goes, I have no idea, Mr. Farley. Why are you picking on me like this? I said, because you let me. Tell me to stop. And she goes, would you stop, Mr. Farley? I said, okay. 10 years later, I went to that class reunion. And this tall, gorgeous woman walked over to me and she says, you remember me, Mr. Farley? And I did. I said, Lai-Hing, you got a lot taller. And she said, I want to tell you something, Mr. Farley. I'm a chemist now. And I'm the manager of my lab. And I have 30 scientists that work for me. And I don't let any of them pick on me. So, okay. So Father Mullins isn't the only one. So, thank you for coming tonight. I'm sorry that we kept you this late. I'm impressed that you haven't all run for the door. Oh, we're not done. Okay, so I'm going to shut up.
It's been a fabulous evening. I want to do a couple more things. In light of the story that John told you all and his famous former students, This is the first gift that we're giving him, and I want him to treasure this forever. It's a framed photo of The Rock. Included in this photo is a movie pass to his new movie. You've been invited to the premiere of G.I. Joe Retaliation. It comes out on June 29th. While I was getting ready to gather some things for tonight, I thought about a couple of things that you maybe can do as you retire. And these are two classic stories, and a lot